of you than others. Could you, about the opponent or opponents in your race, can you tell us what's the best thing you can say about your opponent? And we'd like to start with you, Joe.
Gary Resnick is very bright and very educated and a very shrewd politician. He's got a very close association with the Island City News and its publisher, Mr. Steve Kelly. He's been seen pictured there many times in his garage. So he's got a great resource in being able to smear anybody he wants to, and he's been doing that for quite a while. So I think that's a tremendous resource for him. Unfortunately, I think it's going to catch up to him.
Gary, what's the nicest thing you can say about Joe?
Actually, Joe and I were friends. I mean, back in the early 90s, I helped Joe get elected to the city commission. And I raised him money and helped him when he ran in 1994, or 2004, I'm sorry. And, you know, and I don't know what Joe has against me, to be honest. I think Joe is a nice guy, and I think he cares about our community, and Brandon's a wonderful partner. And I think he's done a tremendous amount for the West Side Association, and I have nothing bad to say about him.
Ted, tell us something nice, please, about Steve and Scott.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I've known for many years. He came to me when he had problems with his contractor, and I was able to get him out of a bad deal and get the contractor thrown off the job and get him back on track. And I respect Steve. He's very articulate. He's served our community well on the Budget Review Committee, and I respect his advices and his efforts on behalf of the city. And as far as my fellow commissioner, Scott Newton, who I've known since I moved here, our children played baseball together. You know, I was a neighbor up until last year when I moved to the west side. But, you know, I respect Scott. We have our disagreements. If you folks think that we're all on the same page every time, we're not. I certainly disagree sometimes with policy Scott makes or propounds, but we do it respectfully. And that's what I like most about Steve and Scott, that we've run a respectful campaign. And I intend, if I'm reelected, to continue that.
Steve?
Ted, you stole my words. What I was going to say is I've known Ted for a long time, and Ted did help me get out of that situation with a bad contractor. It was that contractor that was on TV ripping off people in Broward County and in Palm Beach County. Scott has been a friend of ours for a long time. When my partner David first moved to the city, and Celeste said, "Well, what does he do?" And I said, "Oh, he's an upholsterer." And she said, "Well, Scott's an upholsterer. Send him over to see him." And Scott gave David a job, and I was very appreciative of that. They're both very good people, and they both, believe it or not, encouraged me to run. I'm sure they didn't want me to run in their terms, but they encouraged me to run, and so I am running.
Scott?
I can't say anything about Ted because he's got a bigger truck than I do. Now, you know what? The thing is the best about these two guys is the same as me. We love this city. So no matter what two you pick out of the three, I know they're doing it for their heart for all of us here in Wilton Manors. And that's the best thing I can say about all of you. So I think it's everybody up here, really. We're all here for a reason. We're not here for the money. Thank God we're not, because 7,000 doesn't go very far for all the things you do in Wilton Manors. But I've always gotten along with Ted and Steve. Every once in a while, Ted and I get a little heated in commission meetings because we don't agree on some things. But in the end, we know the vote is over and we move on for both looking at what's going on for our city. And we shake hands at the end of the night, and he goes back to the west side and I go to the east side.
Julie?
This is a story that's gone on a number of times. Celeste and I didn't have a fond relationship 2 years ago. Since that time, I remember very well, we were out walking and cleaning up the streets, and we were bending down, and Celeste said something, and I had asked her advice on something. She said, "You know I'm not going to vote for you." I said, "I know that." And she said, "But let me tell you something else. We're going to be really good friends after this election is over." And what I really admire and appreciate about Celeste is that as soon as that election was over, it took a little bit of time, but we approached one another and began to focus on our strengths. And I think we make a wonderful team when we work together. And I think that certainly I'll make the best choice here, but Celeste is my dear friend. And I'll give her the microphone.
Yeah, Julie and I started out a little bit on the rough side because I was supporting former Mayor John Fiore, who is in the room. Wave to everybody, John. And I gave her some little friendly advice, and I said, but when the election's over, we'll be friends. And I have to say that she did step up to the plate. I mean, she got right involved. She got right into the neighborhood association, and she has shown that she does care about the city. She's worked in the neighborhood. She's helped do the street cleanups. She's a triathlete. She can probably bike faster than me and swim faster than me, but I think I can outrun her. But anyways, we do a good job with, I think, the East Neighborhood Association. And I appreciate the fact that she has stepped up and gotten involved, and she is looking out for the best interests of the city.